Okay, so it's very nice to meet you personally, and I think what you're doing is really, really nice project.
Thank you, and really thanks for the cooperation. And since actually, from the start of this seminar, I got quite many help from the speakers and also the inspire from them. Actually, quite many of them are great female, I think, and in their fields, of course, mostly in the technique field. And
Hmm.
it's really glad to have you today to have the your talk here. So let's just start our part of the talk today.
Right.
Um,
Well, yeah, so thanks again for inviting me here. I really think that there should be more women in engineering work.
yes, I understand as I am also the graduate from the temporary University of the Technology, and my major is data engineering and machine learning. And there is also actually, although here in Finland there has is quite like the equal in gender, but here, at least in the engineering field, there are still the amount of the different gender, the proportion are still not like just equally or something like that. So,
I
and
couldn't agree more. I agree. When I was a student here, there were only maybe 3 or 4 girls in my student
yeah,
group. Not so many, unfortunately.
yeah. um, so, um, today, our first speaker is from the is a IT professional with um, more than 10 years in the large scale complex network field, and as well as the management systems, and some of her experience in SaaS and Azure, for example, um, are quite of high level and worth our share. And also, she studied in the Turku University. Um, so I'm sure her experience can also be the light for the students to have their inspiration and to get motivated. So now let's welcome our speaker.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, and I'm going to start the presentation. My name is Kate Andreeva, and I am currently senior sales engineer at Fusion Layer company. And today I would like to tell about my career, how it developed over past 10 years, and what is it like to be a sales engineer. So I hope uh, I hope my story will spark an interest, and some of you maybe choose this occupation. So I'll walk you through my student years and how I was looking for a job. Then I'll tell you how I learned while I was working, because this field where I work now, um, there isn't really a faculty in university where you can study this, but if you have a good understanding of basics, that would help a lot. Then I will try to tell what is it like to be a sales engineer, what kind of tasks I do, what kind of people I meet, and so on. And probably it will be also interesting to think about what will be my possible next steps in the career. And then I will probably give some advice from the future to my younger self. And of course, I will be happy to answer any questions if there will be any. Few words about the company I work. It's called Fusion Layer, and it's been in business since late 1990s. What we do is DNS and IP address management software, and over time it evolved into something powerful but yet easy to use. Think of it as a single pane of glass where network administrators can see all their networks and relations between networks, and there they can integrate all their private cloud, public cloud infrastructure, DNS and DHCP. We also have DNS and DHCP virtual servers that we make. It's basically virtual appliances. In less than 10 minutes, you can have them up and running. And from time to time, we provide consultancy services to our customers, something that is not directly related to the product, but if they have any questions, how they can maybe optimize their current setup or their infrastructure, so we are able to make some recommendations. And me, as a sales engineer in this company, so I gather customer requirements. So when we have an initial meeting with customer who comes to us and say, I have this kind of problem and I'm looking for a solution. So I'm the one who tries to understand it, what exactly customer wants. Then I prepare and present solution. We discuss it with customer. And if they are happy and they purchase it, I am the one who actually does the implementation of that project and later support of it. So it's all nice, but how did it start? It started in 2007. I was 25 years old and I applied to Rovaniemi University of Applied Sciences to Information Technology faculty. I am from St. Petersburg, Russia, and you can probably imagine that coming from Petersburg to Rovaniemi was there was a bit of a contrast between two cities. I spent there, well, not spent, studied there for a little more than a year. So from autumn to 2007 to winter 2008, and then I transferred to Turku University of Applied Science to same faculty. I graduated in 2013 as a Bachelor of Engineering, and it took 6 years instead of usual 5 because I started to work, and combining work and studies was a little bit difficult. My university was in Turku and my workplace was in Helsinki. I decided that I moved to Helsinki to be closer to my work, but it also meant that a few times a week I would need to wake up quite early to catch a train to be able to get to Turku to my lectures and exams. I was lucky that I found understanding with my teachers. So I was doing remote studies before it became mainstream. So kind of a joke. So my thesis work was done for a Fusion Layer. Topic was DNS key management and exchange, and it was new functionality for this IP address management system. after my thesis work was completed, we signed permanent contract, and ever since 2010, I'm still with Fusion Layer. So, but what about what was happening behind the scenes? I can tell you that it wasn't easy. Like I said, it was quite a contrast coming from family, from friends, from pretty much established life in a way, to new country, to a remote city. It was quite a contrast. I often had self-doubts. Was it the right choice? Why I'm even doing it? And before I found my workplace, it took me many months of sending my CV and getting either no reply at all or just no thank you. I tried to apply to some internship programs, for example, to Cisco, to Citrix here in Finland, but well, I guess it all went for good, because now I have a job that I like. And actually, I found it, or my job found me by an accident. And I'd like to emphasize that networking matters here. So one friend of mine who I knew from Russian community forum mentioned that his former boss is looking for an intern to his company, and if I'm interested in it, I could send a CV. So I did send a CV, and we had an interview, and here I am. So networking matters. You never know where you will be able to find your new job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So I signed contract, and then what happens next? I knew very little about this field, IP address management, networking. Well, I knew something that I studied at university, but it was so theoretical, so abstract. And here at work, I really talk with guys who are system administrators who work with it every day. So I started learning about it. All those scary looking terms and abbreviations. I participated in all the company processes. I went to sales meetings with sales guys to kind of get familiar with what customers are looking for, what kind of questions they ask. Then I would sit with my colleagues with more experience and look how they do solution design. So how they transform those requirements into something else. I did some testing. I did some product support, and it was quite a time. But apparently, my company was really believing in me and seeing some light. So I went in 2011. After a year and a half since I started, I went to Brazil, to our customer, to do an implementation of a project. So it was 5 weeks project. I was supposed to install a customized version of our product. It was, oh my God, it was so exciting. Like, wow, oh my God, I'm going to Brazil, wow, far away. And at the same, I was so terrified. What if it doesn't work? What do I do? My colleagues are in different time zone. Will I be able to get like answers? So help from them. So yeah, it was, well, I can tell you that it didn't go very, very smooth. So there were a couple of hiccups during the test, but somehow I managed to pull it. And actually this installation, it still remains in production. It's still serving about like 90 million subscribers until today. So that was the first project, and after that came another one and another one. And of course, every day I continue to learn. I get knowledge about the product, about industry. I actually started to grow a little bit. So it's not only I do what others tell me to do, but I also can contribute. I, can, say something, give my 5 cents about the problem. And then I started also to do product and solution training for customers. So when we finish the project, they know how to use it, and able to do some basic troubleshooting and operations with the software. Sometimes when project schedule gets quite tight, I was receiving emergency support calls. It might have happened even in the middle of the night, because some of our customers are not from Finland, they would be from another time zone. But it was quite exciting time. And of course, it doesn't happen without fails, because when we fail, we learn. Once I was doing migration for university, and in one of the DNS configuration files, I overlooked recursion option, and it was off, it was disabled. And when I uploaded configuration to DNS server and started it, one of the university campuses lost internet. It was so scary and terrifying. Of course, these migrations, they don't happen in the middle of the day. Of course, it's some quiet time, evening, weekend, and of course, people who might be in campus, they are notified that there might be some service interruptions. But still, and actually, these kind of fails, they don't happen that often, but when they do happen, they just stick in your memory and stay with you for quite a while. So yeah, my job as a sales engineer, it requires a lot of interaction with people. So I have to be technical, because I need to talk with technical people, but I also need to have soft skills, because otherwise they simply won't talk to me. And another interesting thing about this job, with colleagues, we made this sort of definition that we are meeting great people who are not always happy to see you. Because we work with the network operations, they can be quite conservative. They don't really like when some outsider comes and wants to make changes to their network, to their infrastructure. One reason for that is, of course, because they spend so much time to build it. And another reason that every failure can be very crucial for business. For example, if our customer is mobile service provider, if we make a configuration mistake, like in this example, it would mean that not just the campus would be without internet, but hundreds of thousands of people. And that means a lot of angry users. And of course, it will be money loss. If it's a retail customer who lost the connectivity, then their online shop might not work, or their clients who are right now in the supermarket, for example, they are not able to do the payment. So naturally, when outsider comes with all these changes, like, hey, we're going to install this nice new system that will make your life so easy and nice, they are quite skeptical. They would ask you a ton of questions. They would, test you even. And being a female actually is a double trouble here, because you are an outsider and you are female. So they would test you. It will be like an exam. And once you prove yourself, once you answer all the questions, and you're able to explain in very detail what are you planning to do, what will be an outcome, what kind of backup plan we have, how we're going to roll back our changes that we made if something goes wrong. So when they are absolutely certain, they start to trust you, and this is the great part of my job. So when you overcome this skepticism and you making an impact with what you do, so you really see people who use your system and they are thanking you, saying that, oh, it's so nice. I saved now so much time on my everyday tasks. So yeah, this is nice. So my job been pretty much the same until now, except that now I am more senior in my company, and my projects are a little bit more complex than they were before. For example, we have this customer. It's an airline, and they have this big infrastructure that includes, in addition to just DNS and DHCP, they also would like to do automated provisioning of networks. And all these tasks are split between various teams. So I need to, gather it all together into one place. Then I also started to do project management. So I myself can do a schedule, split the project into phases. I do pre-sales briefs, so I really kind of have an impact here. I became main technical contact for our internal team, for younger sales engineers, and for our sales people. So whenever they need to have a request from customers to be answered, they come to me for help. And I've been training new people who've been joining our team recently. Now, after I pretty much reached the top and I report already directly to CEO, so what are the possible next steps in career for sales engineer? Many sales engineers, they do less of engineering work and they start doing a little bit more sales. So one option, for example, would be to become responsible for sales in some region, in Europe, for example, or in the United States. Or because I'm so specialized in this area, very specific area, I can become a consultant. So I can, from time to time, or as my company seems fit, I could do these projects. advice that I would like to give to my younger self, and to all those students who might be watching this, don't give up. I know it sounds very, very cliche, but it is really so. All your hard work will be rewarded one day. Just stick to your plan, just keep going, and don't give up. Also, don't underestimate power of networking. Like I said, this job found me through a person I knew from online forum, and you never know who might tell you, like, hey, my company is looking for somebody, or hey, my friend who is working in this company is looking for somebody. And it can be anywhere. It can be on some professional event, or if you have a hobby, anywhere pretty much. Also, from my experience, I think that it's a good idea to apply to jobs even when not 100% fit. And actually here, two things. You might not be 100% fit to the requirements that company posted in this job list, but if you have good fundamentals and willing to learn, company might invest into you, because sometimes, like in my case, there isn't really a faculty or track to learn the profession. Also, apply if job is not 100% what you are looking for, because you might like those new things if you try them, and if you try them and if you realize that you don't like them, well, that's also fine. You still have time to start doing something new. And I'll be happy to answer any questions if there is something.
As I I'm not actually in the field with any related to the management, and as you say, you try to understand some process from different people and then give the solution. And so is it like under this like in this process, do you think what advantage do we, like female, have might be can be also like just to give some example, like how we our gender can give us some advantage to.
Well, I don't want to be gender specific, but I think that it is more important to be a nice person. There are many people who can code, who can learn how to code, who can learn how to engineer a system. But if they are not very nice people, it might create problems for them and for people around them. In other words, no one wants to work with them, no matter how technical and good they are. I think women might go to compromises more often. That's probably because of, I don't know, how we were raised.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good skill to be able to listen, to have an empathy to the customer, and even if you not 100% understand the technical terms, the attitude that you show, that you care, that is important.
Yeah, usually we are like more patient and just will try more to give explanation, and I think it's also a thing which is important in a team, and Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
So, and as our audience, part of our audience are also international students. Um, like what in a summary, what specifically you would like to inspire them, like in the speech, the final part you also mentioned some like tips to them, like for example, don't give up. So if from like to have the summary of your whole presentation, what, let's say three points what you think is most can be most useful to the international students.
Well, I will still stick with don't give up. I know it can be hard when you're failing and you think that the whole world is against you, but just don't give up. Just don't. You might be like this close to success. I know many international students who studied with me. Some and we were pretty much in the same situation. We all were sending CVs, trying to find some internship and so on. But as the practice shows, we all were able to find something when we were very close to graduation. Whether it's in Finland or some students got very nice job offers from their home countries where they came back. So don't give up. Just don't leave it halfway. You already came so far away. You passed exams. You flew to Finland or took a train or took a bus. You're already there. So just finish it. Don't give up. I also would like to emphasize once again power of networking. Networking is everything. It's not only work, it's also your friends who would support you whatever happens. If you feel sad, mentally down, it's really nice to have friends who would support you. And professional advice, always bring bottle of water and protein snack with you. If you go to customer or if you go to a long lecture, it will help you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, so I think then it's also about the time for us to end the today's presentation. It's really glad to have some experience and some inspiration from your talks. And let's just thanks to our speaker Kate again, and wish we can keep our seminar function well, and in the future we can still have cooperation. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you and have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Bye bye.
Bye. Hi everyone. Thank you for coming to this session of our Everyone Can Dream to Be Extraordinary. And in this session, our second speaker is from the library in Metal, and as a library user here. So let's first let him to shortly introduce about his work before the Corona-19.
Yeah, hello. My name is Mikko Myllylä, and I've been working as like a data analyst for the city of Tampere, like in data reporting things like Microsoft Power BI related work, and also also had made like a couple of lectures, training courses about that topic, and
So for the for your and so as I understand, you're the regular user in this library.
yes, yes.
So from your experience, can you maybe shortly in describe the change of these libraries? For example, the opening hour or there's some excess of your
Mm.
usage before or after and after the Corona's 19.
Um, well, I guess like there was only this few months that in the like in the in the spring and beginning of summer it wasn't open, but that affected the usage of the library. But otherwise, I've been here quite often, just like reserve things and then come to get them from here and return them. And I borrow quite a lot of music because I've started to think that it's better to listen to actual records than just from YouTube and that kind of things. And yeah, I live quite nearby, so it's very easy for me to come here. And well, I don't know if like before the corona, I've well, there was like starting from last September, they had these yearly member cards that they were borrowing like for gigs in Klubi and Tampere Talo and theaters and all kind of that kind of places. And now that they don't have those anymore, which is kind of a pity. That maybe they will come again, but I think that that's something that Corona affected. But otherwise now the opening hours are pretty much the normal now, so there's no big change in that.
So there was shortly the close down of this library as well. Okay, yeah. And then from your own feelings or from your point of view, um, what kind of help do you expect to get from different sides? For example, from the here some public facilities, and also from your, for example, work aspects, and from also like social aspects. For example, like um, any other, like for the technology, as we know, the another almost the same time what is propagated is the 5G into use. So like from this kind of aspects, do you have any um, expectations from the government or from the city?
Like like how they react now, like
Yeah, for
after the
example,
Corona.
the 5G, or for example, what you get, how you get information, and also like now we know there are the
Mm.
apps coming out
Oh
from,
yes, that
and so
yeah, I
how you,
downloaded that Corona Will
yeah,
Go
test
app, but it,
this.
it doesn't really well. I don't think it works the way it should work, but because I installed it and then had the experience that it's using quite a lot of battery, and then I deleted it and then I installed it again eventually, and then it got like stuck that it didn't even want to start anymore. So and yeah, but so it could be better, but yeah. Um, Otherwise, well, yeah, I think the information has been quite good, and mm, because there could be like more united like source for the information in like locally. There was like some Aamulehti article that they update and kind of things,
Yeah,
but
I also
then
actually also see those information from the boards actually
mm,
in each library and some critical like public places.
mm,
Yeah, especially those dense area, there are also signs to warn people to keep their distance and those
mm,
kind of things. Yeah. So then do you have any specific thoughts or idea about this Corona's 19? Like,
well, of course, it's another very nice thing, but it's well, we are lucky quite in Finland that we don't have it like that kind of big epidemic here. But otherwise, well, yeah, it's a very bad situation somewhere else. Uh, I don't know what to say to that. It's like some maybe some kind of other kind of um, precautions could have been made, but I think we managed it quite well this far. But now people are forgetting about it, and then like it's something that we kind of panicked a lot in the beginning of April, for example, and or in the March. But then like now it's kind of normal. The situation is kind of normalized, even though it's in our heads, even though it shouldn't be so, because we're just forgetting about the threats. But yeah.
thank you for giving the interview and
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay,
thank
so
you.
that was that.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the short interview, and
Okay.
it's good for us also to have people from the like the user of the library side to describe about their feeling and their
Mm,
to have their views from their side how this actually they got aided under this Corona's 19 because our
mm.
previous sessions are basically about how those people give help and how those
Oh, okay.
organizations they
Mm,
do some things to keep those people study and work. So it's actually also important for us to have the true information of how people get the help and how people got supported and keep
ah, yes,
their study or work. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think I might have like more thoughts about it if I would give it some time. But and in the work, I don't know if how the information would like if I would okay now I'm getting it like if like thinking about my previous work and I would think that if there would have been this corona situation then how they might have like reacted. But I think that they would have taken like quite a lot of precautions as well and do a lot of remote work which was possible also in that time, but I think now it will be much more. And yes, I think it's just good thing that people can like work remotely more freely nowadays. But even though it's a bad situation, but it's like it's not a bad thing to have that kind of freedom in work.
Of course, and it's good to know like people do have time still work and also their uh, capability to work remotely, which is functioning well under this time. And just, yeah, thank you for giving this. Yeah, thank you.